everybody, I'm Kimberly Turner from cookingwithkimberly.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make crab and smoked Havarti stuffed new potato skins. We're tailgating today, but these would be wonderful for Easter, Mother's Day, birthdays, any kind of wonderful holiday or celebration, especially Father's Day too. I'm using some beautiful crab meat, wild crab meat, about 125 grams. I have some beautiful smoked Havarti ready to go, and I've got roughly 16 potatoes. I don't know if I'll use them all, but I always do extra potatoes because, you know, we never have enough, and you can always use them for breakfast the next day. So I've just picked them out, ones that are of even size or, you know, that are a nice shape, and I've just washed them. New potatoes have very delicate skin on the outside, so instead of boiling these guys up and running the risk of them waterlogging and rubbing those skins off, we're going to bake them and keep them nice and dry as well. So I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I've got a baking sheet with a silicone mat on it, and I'm just going to quickly season these little potatoes up before I throw them on here. Alright, so into a bowl, and I'm actually going to pierce these guys. They need to be pierced if they're being baked, whether it's in the microwave or in the oven. You could definitely do these in the microwave. But what I want to do is I want to try and prick them with my fork around where I'm going to cut them in half. So you want them to be like little boats that you're going to fill, right? They're going to be potato skins. I'm also going to scoop out some of that extra potato in the middle and mix it with the crab. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my fork and I'm just going to poke it around the sides where I'm going to cut them in half, okay? Each one needs that, and I'd like to do that before I season them so that the seasoning can kind of get in there too. That's exactly what I want. You don't need a lot of holes, just a couple. Now these should take roughly 30 to 40 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees roasting. Now these are a nice dainty little potato skin. If you want to do big ones, by all means, you could do that. You're going to need a little bit extra crab meat, that's for sure. So if you want big man food, go ahead and do that. But if you know you have a whole wide variety of people, or if you have little fingers around that are going to want to eat too, then you might want to do these little small ones. That way you don't have to commit to a large one either when you grab one off the tray. You can just grab more than one if you want them. Be great for a shower, a wedding or a baby shower, Easter. I'm going to toss them with a little bit of olive oil, a couple tablespoons, a little bit of salt. I'm going to need freshly ground pepper for the stuffing anyway, so I'm going to do just a little bit more and toss that with the potatoes as well. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, you should get one. It's one of the best, most fun gadgets I have in my kitchen. I use it so regularly, even if it's just for black pepper. Alright, so these guys are tossed in oil, and we're going to just throw them on our baking mat and get them in the oven. You want them to be knife tender through the center, and when you do check for knife tenderness, you're also going to want to poke around the side where you're going to slice it so that you don't rip into that potato. Into the oven they go. Alright, let's check these potatoes for knife tenderness and take them out so we can handle them and fill them in things. They look beautiful, the skins are all intact. Grab yourself a nice sharp knife and let's test one of these guys. Perfect, nice and hot, crispy skin on the outside, which is exactly what we want, but these guys need to cool nearly completely. So we're going to let these guys sit for maybe another 15-20 minutes or so, set them off to the side. This is definitely a food of love. This is not super fast, but very, very delicious and very impressive. Off to the side. My potatoes have cooled down so I can touch them. You don't want to overcook them. You want them to stay as firm as possible but still being cooked through. And don't forget, you're actually going to put them back in the oven to cook even longer. So even if you did it just slightly under, you'd probably be alright. So I'm going to kind of get an assembly line going here. I am going to cut them where I poked them around the edges, and I'm going to cut them in half and make them like a boat. So you want to do the long ways like that. I'm just going to lay them on a baking sheet lined with the silicone mat again. I'm going to use my melon baller in a second to get the centers out, small little holes so that we can stuff it with crab and tasty things. Be gentle as possible with them because they're new potatoes. They are kind of a delicate potato. You want to try and cut them as evenly as possible so that when they're laying on their backs, they will lay straight up. So just eyeball everything. Use a very sharp knife. Okay, so I started taking out the centers with melon baller very gently of these little potatoes. I'll show you how I'm doing them. I'm going to take kind of a shallow scoop. It's going to look sort of like how a deviled egg would look when you take out the cooked egg yolk. So you're just going to very gently put it in, leaving a good little bit around the edges so that your potato skins stay intact, right? And into the bowl, you're going to save the middles, and you're going to use that as part of the stuffing. And this is going to be so fun. You could do something like this for Valentine's Day as well. Maybe add a little bit of pimento pepper in there with the crab, so you have like the red and white theme going on. You also want to leave a good bit at the bottom so everything stays together. All right, those are all done. All right, yet another way to use a melon baller. Okay, I use a giant fork and I'm just going to kind of mash these up a little bit. I'm not going to cut them all up or anything like that. Just kind of break them. I don't want them mush, but you want definite chunks that you can mix evenly throughout the crab and things. Now I do a version of these with sour cream and chives, but not everyone enjoys onion and garlic in my household. So tonight I'm doing a little bit different. We're doing sort of a southwestern feel. We're doing some lime and cilantro, some smoked paprika, and some spicy cayenne pepper. So we're going to use about a teaspoon, I would say, of freshly ground black pepper. I like it a little bit of coarser grain. That's why I like to do it myself. And that's that 125 grams of wild crab meat. You could use whatever kind of crab meat you have available to you. Even lump crab meat would be absolutely awesome. A little bit of cayenne pepper. Use a little bit of smoked paprika. About a half a teaspoon. Maybe a quarter teaspoon. We also have that smoky Havarti that's going to go on the top. And I'm going to go ahead and just finely chop some fresh cilantro. Now I'm not going to season with salt because crab comes from the sea and it already has a natural saltiness of its own. We try not to add extra salt in our household if at all possible. It's just healthier for you. You get lots of sodium and everything else. I'm going to use at least a half of a lime. I'm going to do a quick taste test here as well. Also, that smoked Havarti cheese is going to have some salt in it, so I think we're covered with the salt. All right, I'm going to stir this up a little bit here. Now, whenever I get chickpeas in the can, I save the liquid. That's called aquafaba. If you've never used it, it has a lot of different uses. Now, instead of using any kind of creamy anything, some people don't like creamy in my house either. Depends on who's here. So you go ahead, I'm going to add a little bit of aquafaba just to kind of bind this. It will sort of act like a binder, and it's, you know, relatively flavorless. Just a little bit more. It'll also keep that crab meat nice and moist. And I'm going to use just a handful, it would be maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. Stir that through so everything is evenly combined. And I'm going to do a quick taste test just to make sure my flavors are on point. Tasty. Needs a little bit more lime. Altogether, that'll be a whole lime. But do it to your preference. Adjust the seasonings to your own taste. And for a little bit more fun, I'm going to chop up 2 beautiful sun-dried tomatoes into small chunks. You could also do this for Valentine's with the red flecks if you don't want to add any extra hot spice. All right, that looks beautiful. All right, that's what the stuffing looks like. Very, very nice. All these beautiful flecks. I'm putting a little knob of butter in the bottom of each one of these because seafood always goes well with a little bit of butter. And so do potatoes. Don't need a lot. If you wanted to melt it and put it in there, feel free. I'm just putting the size of a pea in. You could finely chop mushroom and put this in here just the same. So I'm going to use a teaspoon and I'm just going to fill them as best I can over top of the bowl so you keep any mess off of the baking sheet. So just spoon it in there, top it up. You're just looking for something like that. Well, these look absolutely beautiful. Again, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, any kind of shower. Oh, those are lovely. New Year's Eve even. Tailgating, any kind of time you want a little popper, Friday nights. Now, I'm going to grate up some of this gorgeous smoked Havarti cheese. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the top of each one. These are like dainty potato skins. You don't need much. You could get a really nice, even more expensive brick of cheese if you wanted to do it, really do it up. Because you don't need too much. You think gorgonzola would be nice on there? Alright, I'm going to put a few strands on each one. Outrageous. Now, if they didn't look cute enough and delicious enough already, we added the cheese, and look at them now. Woo-wee! Into the oven they're going to go. I have it preheated to 375 degrees, and I'm going to check them after 5 minutes. I'm thinking they're going to take probably a little bit less than 10 minutes. Havarti is a very soft cheese. If you have a very soft mozzarella, it'll be something very similar to what Havarti is going to melt like. Alright, we got to balance these guys. There you go. Into the oven they go. Alright, I've checked them at 5 minutes, I checked them at 8 minutes, and I think I've got another 3 minutes or so to go. What I want is that cheese to melt on the top, to be bubbly, and just a hint of turning brown on the top. If you want to put it under the broiler for a minute or two, make sure you're keeping your eye on it, and you just want it browned if you want to hurry things up. They're so pretty. Alright, these look perfect. I let them go for about 12 minutes. I have a little bit of brown bits going on here. I've got a little bit of a char a little bit here. Woo! That's gonna be good. So I've just sliced up some really thin lime wedges. People can grab a little thin slice. These are little tiny appetizers, so they don't need a big one. So just gently transfer to a serving tray, and you're gonna serve immediately. These guys are gonna be the most awesome poppers. You're might have to whip up another batch. Alright, so I've just put them on a little tray and we're ready to serve. I had lots more, I just couldn't fit them on my platter. So cool beans, I've got a backup plan for when they're gone. So I can't wait to try one of these for you. They look so pretty with the red and the green flecks.
They're absolutely divine.
Good.
Oh man.
You like that, Mom?
Wow.
Mmm.
They're so good.
The potato held together perfectly. Nice and firm. The skin is intact. Everything is cooked through the center. Look at that, still juicy stuff going on there. All browned bits of cheese. Good little poppers. Serve that up alongside some fried eggs for breakfast in the morning. Again, great for Mother's Day to surprise your mom, breakfast in bed with fried eggs and stuff. Wow. I'd be happy with that. I need another one of these. With a little bit of lime this time. Look how exquisite they are. You've got little crunchy bits of the cheese.
So pretty.
Nice. They're not messy at all. 2-bite potato skins. That sweet, tender crab meat is nice with the lime, a little bit of citrus. You could have used lemon just the same, but I do tend to like lime. And the little bit of sun-dried tomato gives a nice tang. A little bit of butter in the bottom, soaked into the potato, and just made everything happy. That smoked Havarti, you like that, Mom? Gave just a little bit of a smoky flavor, not too much because we just put a couple strands of it on the top. Kind of keeps everything intact. I kept the stuffing nice and light and fluffy when I stuffed it. I didn't really pack it, right? They would be so cute at Easter, served alongside deviled eggs. They're the exact same shape and size. Kind of neat. Anyhow, that's how you do it, and I hope that you try and like this whole recipe. Okay? Crab and smoked Havarti stuffed new potato skins. Alright? That's it. Follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim, E with a capital E. Like the fan page at facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. My shows are on ifood.tv/cookingwithkimberly, youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. You can find my channel on Roku, Cooking with Kimberly, and I'm also syndicated on Apple TV and Amazon. Come to my website at cookingwithkimberly.com and subscribe. Interact with us and let us know what's going down in your culinary world. Alright? Be a champion in your kitchen and eat deliciously. Bye!